Good evening. I hope everyone is well tonight. Um, I have desperately been attempting to avoid making a recording like this. But right now, I no longer can. Those of you who have known me for many years know that when I was young, I thought I was conservative. I was a member of the New York State Conservative Party, a party without which the Republicans win no statewide election in New York. And I didn't actually start switching to the left until I was 33 because I genuinely believed that we could solve things by people just caring about one another, and I thought people did. And that was all fine. And then I switched out, and I've gone from being Democrat to independent to Democrat since then. And there are certain things where I clearly am more on the conservative side. I'm basically opposed to land taxes. I have a weapons cabinet with long guns in it. I'm not a classic liberal. I am definitely on the left economically and in issues of the rights of the individual. In 2016, initially, before all the stuff started coming out, I actually gave Trump money. I was never a Trumper, but I was also not an anti-Trumper. I gave him money because I thought businessman, New York City, how bad can it be? Well, I was wrong. I've said that before. I've apologized to many people. I did ultimately vote for Hillary because of what came out about him, but I still had, a willingness to see how he did. And he didn't do well, and my willingness faded, but it was only after he lost the election to Joe Biden, who I strongly supported, that I began to question him as a person. I saw the thing with Russia, and I said, he's just a useful idiot. He doesn't know foreign policy. They're using him. And as January 6th happened, I was horrified, completely horrified. And as he continued to struggle to steal an election, make no mistake, that was an attempt at theft, I was even more horrified. We inaugurated Biden. Trump went to Mar-a-Lago. And he took a bunch of documents with him, and I knew that was wrong. You have to go through special procedures with the archival people to do that. So it was discovered in February. It was acknowledged in February. They demanded the documents back. They sent people to Mar-a-Lago. He gave them 15 boxes of documents. What I didn't know is that they believed he still had other documents, and they continued to negotiate with him. If it had been you or I, they'd have been in our structure months and months ago. But they weren't. And time passed. And they got a warrant, and they entered Mar-a-Lago, and they retrieved the rest of the documents, and that was what it was. And the right went berserk, which makes no sense. They claimed to be the law and order people. They certainly did when I was involved with them. But all of a sudden, if it's their side that's in trouble, no law, no order, defund the FBI. Senseless. And initially, I thought it odd that he wouldn't release the warrant, but he didn't. And then the AG said he was moving to release the warrant, and Trump said, well, fine, then I support you releasing the warrant. And we were all waiting for the court to decide to release the warrant, when Trump who had a right to do this. Let me be very clear. If you're served a warrant, you have a right to share it with anyone you want. Well, appearances are that he leaked the warrant to Breitbart, which is a hard right-wing website. Well, even they could not whitewash it. The worst nightmare that I or anyone that I know had as things got weirder and weirder with the Russian thing, and if he was impeached and he survived it, the worst thought anyone I know had, including myself, is that he was a useful idiot, which was an old Soviet term for someone you could use who didn't realize you were using them, basically. Or maybe an asset. So, let me be very clear. Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, was appointed by Trump. He has been a conservative Republican his entire life. He worked with Justice Kavanaugh at one point. The evidence became so strong that there was more to what was going on than what appeared, that he took that evidence to a magistrate judge, also appointed by Trump, vetted by the Federalist Society, a lifelong Republican, who agreed that the evidence was so severe that a raid had to take place immediately, and issued the search warrant. Yes, the Attorney General signed off on it, but that he's taking responsibility because men like him take responsibility. The buck stops with them. The reality is Christopher Wray and a magistrate judge made this decision, both of them conservative Republicans. And now we know why. Because he leaked the document to Breitbart, hoping that Breitbart could whitewash it. But Breitbart couldn't whitewash it. Former President Trump is under investigation under Clause 783 of the Espionage Act. I'm going to link a copy of the clause in the comments. But everybody watching this, right, left, and center, needs to understand that this means that a highly conservative FBI director was able to convince a highly conservative judge on a preponderance of the evidence to issue a federal warrant because they believed that not only did Trump have possession of highly classified materials, which according to some sources included nuclear documents, and I think that's likely, but that he was about to use them to harm the United States of America by giving them to a foreign power. Everybody take a moment, no matter your political persuasion, take a moment to think about what that took. And they recovered documents. We won't ever, well, not for a long time, know precisely what, because the highest classification of documents is such that you can't even describe them. So there'll be bizarre nonsensical entries about super classified documents with no description. But it's safe to assume some of them were nuclear. And right on schedule, a member of the Russian Duma went on their state TV and referring to former President Trump as our Donald. Those were his words translated into English. The best way to protect our Donald is, in his opinion, Russian security service agents. Effectively, I believe they just offered him sanctuary if he can get out of the United States. And frankly, who do you think he was taking documents for, if in fact he's guilty? If they're offering him sanctuary in Russia? Everything that the most extreme people on the left thought was true apparently was true. And for everyone in the United States to not acknowledge that and move in the direction of making sure that never happens again, frankly, you're lost to this country. You are lost to this country. Penalties for breaching the Clause 783 of the Espionage Act include possible fines and a prison sentence in federal prison of 10 years. Additionally, any properties or holdings that you either have purchased or retained because of gains from these foreign powers are forfeit. Forfeit. Gone. It appears that he wasn't a useful idiot and he wasn't an asset. He was an agent. And I don't care why that was. And I don't care what anyone's political position is. Any American should now be opposed to the man, even if he wiggles out on a technicality, which I doubt he will, to be honest. There's enough evidence. A federal magistrate judge requires a higher standard of evidence for probable cause than any other judge you can deal with. And yet, they issued the warrant. They found the things they were looking for. And if the Republican Party does not immediately repudiate him, utterly repudiate him, throw him out of the party, repudiate his leadership, then frankly, I hope they never win another election. We need a conservative party that in some way represents America. And whatever they are now, they're not American. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry to rant, but like I said, couldn't help it anymore.